Go west, young man. That advice has been given to young fortune hunters ever since they found gold in California. It's something really special to be on the edge of this big continent and look out over the Pacific Ocean. There's something definitive in this experience. Well, here we are now. Where's the gold? For a motorcyclist, the gold is black. Black sticky asphalt that grips your rubber tires. The gold is also wherever you look around you. Incredible views over nature's best show. The coast road between Los Angeles and San Francisco is called Pacific Coast Highway. Highway in this case is related to elevation rather than speed. To travel by bike on this road is a completely different experience than to be locked into a car. Sharp twisty curves with fall-off mountainsides and a breathtaking view. In a car you can easily get sick when there are too many sharp curves that make the car wobble back and forth. But on a bike, you lean with the curves and your body stays in sync with the machine. To travel through these views, where you also feel the smells in the air and small temperature changes around each corner, you really live in the moment. We started our trip in Cambria, a small town by the coast just north of the much bigger university city, San Luis Obispo. No matter how you travel along PCH, a stop in Cambria is a must. The eastern part is the old original town, established 1860, charming wooden houses full of gingerbreading. Cambria is full of art galleries, delicacies, and restaurants. A real treat. The evenings were best spent down on Moonstone Drive, in awe over breathtaking sunsets. We set off early the next morning. The fog was thick and sticky as we zoomed up along the coastline. Even though this was in the middle of the peak tourist season, we hardly saw a car. It didn't take very long to get to Hearst Castle. Hearst, the newspaper mogul, who built the palace to his young mistress. We weren't allowed to film inside, but it's well worth a visit, and look in awe at how to decorate your home if money is no object. Before long, our right hands are starting to itch really bad. They miss the cozy buzz from the throttle when you're revving it. We give in to their demands and we zoom along the coast again. Riders who enjoy touring are usually very curious by nature. It is interesting to find out what's around you. So we stopped to check out the elephant seals. We read that they can dive up to 5,000 feet. Imagine the pressure down there. They must be squeezed into wiener seals. At Ragged Point is where the real hairpin turns start to test our cornering skills. The hardest part isn't the curves themselves, but all the tourists that jump out of their cars to look at the view and take pictures. The best way to enjoy this road is to ride a favorite stretch a few times back and forth. First slowly and just enjoy the sights. Make many stops and let it all sink in. When you know the views, you can twist the wrist and enjoy the riding itself. Just remember that there may be a big RV behind a blind corner doing 15 miles per hour.
That's a lot of water. It's funny to see all these tourists on bikes.
Yeah, they're happy, they're waving. It's really nice. Remember those two guys from Australia we met?
Yeah, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento.
All the way to Death Valley. You really need one of those little GPSs you have out there.
Imagine coming so far away and just spending your whole vacation on a motorcycle.
Ah, it's so peaceful to sit here and watch the ocean. I get so calm and relaxed. Ah, let's ride. A little later we came to Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park, well worth a stop. We hiked a short path and found a waterfall into the ocean. And we were wondering who Julia Pfeiffer Burns was, but all we can find is that she was a local pioneer. Oh well. The idea to build the Pacific Coast Highway came from a doctor in Monterey. He wanted a faster way to reach his patients in the areas along the coast. He also believed that such a road would be good for the tourist industry in California. He managed to drive his idea through legislation, and the road's construction started in 1929. When PCH was finished in 1937, all of the media was present and it was a big event. Part of the deal when building PCH was that no fast food restaurants, billboards or luxury homes were allowed to ruin the natural surroundings along the road. Well, by now our stomachs are rumbling more than our engines, and we stop for lunch in Gorda, where they have good food and the most expensive gasoline in the US. Okay, so we come to Gorda, the end of the worst twisties, and now we're getting hungry, so let's have some lunch. I'm on channel 8 here in the Chatterbox. Is that what you got?
Okay, channel 8. Good.
Alright, cool. Let's ride.
Let's go.
We used our Chatterboxes all the time. It was really cool to be able to talk to each other without honking the horn, waving your arms or legs, or blinking with your lights. As we travel north, the landscape is changing character. It's getting flatter and more forested. We're approaching Big Sur, with both razor-sharp cliffs and enormous beaches. We end this day in Monterey, the pearl of the coast. The big tourist area is called Cannery Row, full of eclectic shops and restaurants inspired by sea life. The privately owned world-famous 17-mile drive is not open to motorcycles. We're too noisy. You know, some guys say loud pipes save lives, but they save you $25 too, not having to pay for that road. But there are equally many public miles that are open to everyone that also follow the North Shoreline. We ride along the coastline and see the sun dip into the big sea. Next morning is thick with fog. It will ease up around lunch, but as you can see right now, it's gray and very cold. After too much of the fog and the cold, we decide to head up the mountains to discover the redwood forests. We turn right at Santa Cruz and take the number 9 highway inland. The fog is thinning out and the temperature is rising the further we get from the sea. And in Brookdale, we discover where Scooby-Doo lives.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? You know the ones who say California's got everything? We're not kidding.
We turn left on 236 and the trees are getting taller and the forest is getting thicker. These forests are some of the oldest living things on the planet.
Well, you know, up in the redwood forest here, they really trust each other. So if you need firewood, you just go ahead and pick your own stack and then just put the money in the box there. And if you come here at night, you even have a light that's being powered by solar cells. Pretty nifty. So a whole 10 yards from the actual store of firewood is the factory.
And today we found the redwood trees. They might not appear that big, but some of them can have up to 240 feet to the first branch.
Now, where did I park my bike again?
The taller the trees get, the smaller we feel. After a while we get to Big Basin Redwoods Park. This is the oldest park in California, established 1902. The road is pure heaven, only curves.
Okay, so here we are inside a redwood tree.
It's so big. I hope you can really get it from this picture how big it is. You can actually live in here. It's like a teepee.
For a small LA apartment.
There you go.
The bark on these redwood trees can be up to 12 inches thick. Yeah, twist this!
Billions and billions of trees.
A small GPS is a really good tool to bring with you on the trip, even if you don't mount it on the actual bike. You can quickly and easily look up gas stations, restaurants, shops, where roads are, how far it is to the next intersection, and so on. Very useful.
Twisties and redwood trees. Amazing.
Many curves later, we reach Boulder Creek.
So we stopped in Boulder Creek, beautiful city up in the woods. Really need a cup of coffee now.
We're in the mood for some real good coffee, and we discover a cafe with something unique to the Santa Cruz area, a brew bar. We're wondering what that might be, and we get a demonstration from the owner.
Brew bar, and we pour fresh coffee, and we do demonstrations. Sugar, salt together. It's like French coffee.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice big sweet coffee. And then do hot water. Fresh coffee. Fresh.
Never got coffee.
Now with our internal caffeine meter on full, we head up to San Francisco. There's been an endless stream of written words and filmed frames about this charming city, and we turn our wheels into the roller coaster streets and dive right in. Very soon we discover how easy it is to get around the crowded city on two wheels. Check out these two guys looking at my bike. They probably wonder how to best describe the color. It's envy green, guys.
So we finally reached our final destination.
San Francisco.
So here we are at the top of Twin Peaks.
Overlooking downtown, Market Street. Looks like a postcard, but it's actually there. It's actually real. Pretty sweet.
There's something very mighty about riding across the enormous Golden Gate Bridge. We're lucky that it's rather clear. Sometimes the bridge can be completely engulfed in fog. It took 4 years to build the bridge, and it was done before deadline, under budget. The year was 1937, the same year Pacific Coast Highway was done. What a coincidence. You get a bit surprised when turning a corner and the street goes straight up. Plus, it's full of cable car tracks that you don't want your front wheel to get stuck in. It's a real adventure to ride in this roller coaster city. Lombard Street, the crookedest street in the US. The curves were designed to reduce the natural grade from 27% to 16%. It's a one-way street, and during peak tourist season, it's always a line of cars there. To go down it with a motorcycle is like going down a ski hill in slow motion, but on a bike.
I don't know, not my kind of twist is.
Chinatown in San Francisco is the largest outside China. The first immigrants came in the mid-1880s when they needed people to dig for gold and build a railroad. In the beginning, only single men were allowed into the country.
Okay, so here we are in San Francisco on Treasure Island. The building behind me was the Nazi airport in the third episode of Indiana Jones.
Down on the right there is the famous Fisherman's Wharf, a tourist area full of shops and restaurants and the great chocolate factory Ghirardelli. And right there in the corner is the Buena Vista. They claim to have invented the Irish coffee. Whether they invented it or not, it's still really good. We ride up many more sharp hills and get to Coit Tower, and look, there he is, Columbus, the guy who discovered America. One advantage of taking your bike on a city sightseeing tour is that as soon as you've ridden by a famous place or site, you can just go on riding and still say, "Yeah, I saw that." So after a 4 days ride along the coastline, we get a perfect sunset in San Francisco. That's pretty unusual since it's foggy almost every morning and evening. We met a couple from France that thought it was perfect. You could sleep until noon without feeling guilty. It was so foggy anyway. We hope you too get a chance to experience the Pacific Coast Highway. Remember to have plenty of time and pack clothes for both desert heat and cold fog. Wow, what a great trip. So, what do you want to do tomorrow?
Do you feel like going to the racetrack?
The racetrack? Okay, well, what's there?
I know this guy, Rick Becker. He's going to be there all day.
Really? Yeah, okay, that sounds like fun.
Okay.
All right.
Let's ride.